Welcome to the In Love with PMDD podcast. I am your host, Dr. Rose, your PMDD relationship psychotraumatologist, and I help you stop the monthly PMDD breakups. PMDD is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. It is in approximately 1 in 5 women, and it makes you want to break up with your partner approximately 1 to 2 weeks before your period every single month. So as someone who has suffered with PMDD for over 18 years, I dedicated my doctorate practice to helping partners navigate those monthly PMDD breakups with everything from attachment styles, triggers, sensitivity to noise, sensitivity to touch, all of the things that you really struggle with when you're in PMDD. And I also dedicated my dissertation to a phenomenological study of the relationship experiences of partners of individuals who suffer with premenstrual dysphoric disorder. So I'm not just here to help the sufferer, the one who is suffering with PMDD. I am here for the partners as well. So if you need those private sessions, make sure you go to inlovewithpmdd.com and get those tools. So let's get into this week's PMDD trauma transformational tools that is going to help you stop the monthly breakups and stop the suffering and stress in your PMDD relationship. Let's get into it. Today, I am going to do what I call playing devil's advocate and talk to you about what are the benefits of being single while having PMDD. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know I have a quote on there that I used to have pinned at the top, and it's called "Being single is not a cure for PMDD." I stand by this first and foremost. So I just want you to really recognize that being single is not a cure for PMDD. Once you become single, your PMDD does not go away. I am living proof of that. I had no intentions of, when I wrote that quote, I had no intentions of living that out for you to see, but here I am single with PMDD. When I wrote it, I was very much in a relationship. But the reason why I want to talk about this is because you always hear about the flip side of the coin. You know, you always tend to think when you're really suffering in your relationship in PMDD and a lot of the issues that you're having with your PMDD partner, you really just feel like if I was single, I wouldn't have any of these problems. Like, if I didn't have this relationship stress, if my partner wasn't triggering me, if I wasn't triggering them, if I wasn't feeling this guilt, if I wasn't feeling all these things, my PMDD would be so much better. I probably wouldn't have PMDD rage if I was single, because what would I be angry about? My life would be amazing. I would be suffering for a little bit, but it would be nothing in compared to, being in a relationship and fighting every single day. I've heard it all. I've been there so many times. I've thought the same things. I've said the same things, and I still stand by being single is not a cure for PMDD. And let me tell you why. So there are some advantages to being single while you have PMDD, and I've had the illustrious opportunity to live that out the last couple of months since my divorce. And I would say, it's kind of like you have to weigh things out in life with PMDD. You kind of have to, it's like it's like my choice not to take medication was not because I didn't believe that the medication works, meaning birth control, SSRIs, antidepressants, all the things. Not that I don't think that they would work. For me, it's the side effects for me. So case in point, right now I am on bed rest because I had the injury of, I have a herniated disc in my lumbar. I have a lumbar herniated disc in my lower back, which has protruded into my left leg, which is now numb and tingling, which is a weird feeling because it's numb. How do I know it's tingling if it's numb? It's very weird. It's kind of like when the doctor takes and it's all the way down to my foot. So if you take like a knife or something and kind of put it on my foot, you could probably slice and dice my leg. I know that's kind of vulgar, and I probably wouldn't feel it. Like, I have very little feeling, which is why I'm on bed rest, because they don't want me to walk because I can't feel my other leg. So I'll probably like tip over or something. But yeah, so it's the pros and the cons. So they gave me this medication, and that shall remain nameless because I just became a doctor. I'm not trying to get sued. Okay. So I took this medication that was prescribed for me the first day. I mean, I got a lot of medications because of the amount of excruciating pain that I'm in. And so they gave me a lot of medications. And one of them that they gave me I started looking up the side effects, right? I'm that person that when you give me a bag of pills, I'm gonna take that piece of paper and I'm not only gonna look at your printout of the side effects, I'm gonna Google all of the side effects. I'm gonna like put it on Instagram on the little discovery thing and see what people are saying who have taken it. Like I do all this before I put things inside of my body because I really feel like you can't unput things in your body. There's some things that you put in your body, and once they're in there and they've been in there, like you will forever be changed because it's been introduced to your system. You know, I've had a lot of private clients, patients that have gotten addicted to a lot of medications that they've been given for pain and certain things. So I try to be very cognizant of what I put in my body because my daddy used to say, you know, your body will never crave something that you never gave it. And so what that means, if you never give your body this medication, you're not going to go through any sort of withdrawal because you've never given it to them. But you really sometimes don't know what you're going to be addicted to or how it's going to affect you or what side effects you're going to get. So I like to be very well informed, and also I like to be well informed so that if anything, you know, happens, I'll know, okay, this is a side effect of this medication, and I'll know which medication I'm going to get the side effects from because a lot of these medications that they give you, they'll tell you to take them simultaneously. So you really won't know which medication is really impacting you negatively because you're taking them all. So I like to introduce them one by one. And then I also like to know the side effects. So I went ahead and I did number one, I did the first medication and I took it and I literally, case in point, got the side effects. The risk was one of the risk of this medications was hallucinations. Now I read all of the other ones. It was like fatigue, drowsiness, don't operate any heavy machine, like a lot of the things. So I'm like, okay, I'm not planning on doing any of that. When I read hallucinations, I literally sped past it and kept going. You know, it was like headache, blah, blah, blah. Like I just read it and I don't know. I really thought it was so far fetched. I'm like, there's no way. Well, I ended up getting one of the side effects, which was the fatigue, the drowsiness. So I ended up falling asleep and waking up to hallucinations, literally punching the air like I was Rocky and there was nothing there. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, I was at first I was freaking out because I was like, what the heck? Because I'm in my follicular days, I'm in my good days. I'm supposed to be living my best life. And I'm punching the air. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, that the hallucinations is one of the side effects. So I immediately go back to the bag. I'm like, bring me the bag with the medicine. And I look and yeah, lo and behold, hallucinations is one of the rare side effects. But I always get the rare. That's what used to happen to me when I took birth control. I would get all of the rare, like one in whatever. Well, I should have known because you know, PMDD is rare, 1 in 20, and look at me now. But I was just like, oh my gosh. So how does this translate to being single? You have to outweigh the pros and the cons. So the pros of me taking the medicine was that it did alleviate my pain. I couldn't feel my pain, but I was feeling very like out of body experience. I felt very loopy. So I didn't feel the pain, but I also didn't feel like myself either, which is a lot of what I hear from my clients. Is like they take the SSRIs and they don't experience the symptoms as much. They feel like a zombie. They feel like a a different version of themselves. So you kind of, and I always tell them, I'm not going to make the decision for you. You kind of just have to weigh the pros and the cons. You know, if you wean yourself off of this, which a lot of SSRIs, you're not supposed to like just stop taking them. That's another thing. And this medicine said the same thing. It's like you don't want to just stop taking it because again, your body gets used to it and you can't just stop. If you stop taking it, bad things will happen. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So that was my reluctance to even start to take it because I didn't know what it would look like for me to not take it. So I just stopped. I'm not taking it again. Like there's no way. Like I thought I was gonna fall out the bed the way I was kicking and punching and because it seems real when you have hallucinations. I don't know if you ever had them before, but they seem very real and it's a very scary thing because it's almost like you can't come out of it. So I kept like blinking really hard. I was like, what is my life? So can you imagine me hobbling around on one leg, punching the air? Like I have to laugh, even though it's painful. I have to laugh to stop myself from crying, which I've done already. So got that out of the way. So when you're thinking about being single while you have PMDD, you have to weigh the pros and the cons the same way. The risk of being single is you're risking being lonely. You're risking wanting someone there. But today we're going to talk about the benefits. And I'm going to give you the other side of the coin. So I'm going to have this episode where I'm going to talk about the benefits of being single. And then I'll have another episode, the two-part series. I'll have the benefits of being in a relationship and having a partner, which, I prefer to do. I subscribe to that. Obviously, my whole business and livelihood and all the things is predicated upon that because I really see the value in it, but that's not what we're talking about here. I'm playing devil's advocate, meaning I'm playing that little devil on your shoulder that's telling you every month that you should just break up and be single. I'm gonna like play that one today, just so you can get the other side of the coin and really, really make an informed decision for yourself, right? Because again, I'm not forcing you to do anything, not forcing you to be with your partner. I just want you to be well informed, okay? So the first benefit that I can attest to, and that is true for a lot of private clients that I have once they have been single, is autonomy, aka freedom and independence. Now, this is particularly beneficial for me. This is why it's my number one. It's because I have always valued autonomy and freedom and independence. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm an Enneagram 7. If you've ever taken that test on personalities, I am a very independent person just as a human. And I've been that way since I was a child. I've always wanted to go out and play, but I've never necessarily had to have people to play with. I was that child that easily entertained, themselves. And I had a big family. I had 3 brothers and 3 sisters. So it's not like I had a lack of people to play with. I just have always been able to entertain myself, and I really enjoy my own company. Like I used to love to read when I was little, and I still love to read and all the like I have a lot of things to occupy my time. So I never really feel lonely. Honestly, I've never really struggled with loneliness. I can say that because when I start to feel it, I just do something that I enjoy. Like I'm very self-aware. I know what makes me happy. So being single means I have the freedom and the independence to do all the things that I want to do. And to not have to feel like me doing something that I am enjoying doing is hurting someone else, or it's causing someone else to suffer, or they're not going to want me to do it, or I don't mind checking in. That's one thing about being in a relationship. I don't mind checking in. It's not the checking in part that causes me to lose my freedom. It's the over question, it's the suspiciousness, right? So if I have a partner where I'm like, hey babe, I'm about to go to the spa, which is one of the things that I do. I'm gonna go to the spa for a couple hours, I'm gonna go to the movies, or I'm gonna go get my nails done. And as long as if they're supportive of that, like I have no issue. But if this is a situation where they're gonna be suspicious about me going to the spa alone, or me going to the movies alone, or me going out to eat alone, or I don't know, like, are you really going alone? Or like that for me, I'm glad to not have to deal with that ever again. If I never have to deal with that ever again in life, I will be a happy camper, because I do not like explaining myself to people who think that I'm doing something shady when I know that my pure intentions are just to go and relax, because it causes me to not relax when I'm doing the activity. If I have to overly explain it to you, or have to like check in at a certain time because you're going to be suspicious of me doing something, I'm not going to be enjoying. I almost rather not do it, right? I'm one of those people where if you're going to question me so much, I'll just stop doing the things, because it's no longer enjoyable for me if I don't, unless you're giving me that autonomy, aka the freedom and the independence to do it. And so if I have the freedom, now that I'm single, I have the freedom to engage in activities that make me happy and that meet my needs. And I lack nothing when I'm in this place. When I'm in this place of being able to do all the self-care things, take a bath when I want to take a bath, like all the things, I lack nothing. I don't feel like something's missing. Again, that's where the loneliness, the lack of loneliness comes in. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. Like I went to go see the Chosen movie, the movie about Jesus Chosen, and it's like a couple hours long. And I remember seeing one of them. I saw one with my daughter, and then one time I saw one by myself, and it's like a 3-hour movie. I literally took myself on a date. I literally went out to eat, had a really nice dinner, one of my favorite restaurants downtown at the bar, sitting at the bar. And then I went to go see this 3-hour movie. And then afterwards, me and my condo mates went to the hot tub, and we just chilled and talked and relaxed. And I just had an amazing time again because I had the freedom to do that. I wasn't on anybody's time zone. Nobody was waiting for me to check in. And I wasn't with, I mean, obviously, like I always reference that movie Up in the Air with George Clooney when they told him, like, shouldn't you, like, aren't you scared about being lonely? And then he says, there's 7 billion people in this world. I doubt I'll ever be alone. Like you can always be around people. And I'm like that. Like I love going to festivals, which I've done a couple of times since I've been single. I've gone to concerts, I've gone to festivals, I've gone to shows alone and had an amazing time and loved the energy of the people that were around me. Like I ended up meeting people and just talking and or some of the events I didn't talk to other people, but I was just enjoying being around other people. That's me. So that's why one of the benefits of being single while you have PMDD is when I went into PMDD, I was able to do a lot of social things without having to appear social, meaning I wasn't required to be at a certain energy level. Like I could go because I'm single and it's just me. I could go to these events and go do things that are social. And I didn't have to be happy and bubbly and blah, blah, blah. I could be internal and still be outside. Like I'm an ambivert. You know, they have introverts, they have extroverts, and they have ambiverts, which is that person in the middle that could go either way. That's me. I'm not a homebody, so you can't really call me an introvert because I don't want to stay home ever. I love to be outside, but I'm not necessarily an extrovert because I don't like to be around a whole bunch of people all the time. But I love to be in the company of others. So this is an ambivert. You want to do things, but you don't necessarily need to be around people in order to do them. And so when you're single, you have the freedom to do that. You can go out and if you're in a mood and you want to be in a mood and still go to the movies, you can go to the and it's not going to trigger someone. Meaning whatever mood that you're in when you're in PMDD, it's not going to trigger anyone because you only are accountable for yourself. So the number two reason or benefit of being single while you have PMDD is, you know, your schedule. You have a very flexible schedule. You know, people that are very rigid with their time, I don't really get along with very well. What I mean by that, time management is one of those things that I'm always working on. So if I have a person that's rushing me when I'm in PMDD, that's a trigger for me because I'm already like, I probably have a million things that I think that I have to do in my mind. And if I have this person that is consistently, you know, telling me you need to do this, you need to be here, we need to do this, and but like that gives me anxiety. So that will actually exasperate my symptoms. If you're rushing me while I'm in PMDD, that gives me anxiety. If I feel like I'm going to have anxiety over being late because then your whole mood is going to shift because I'm late, you know, I can't subscribe. If I have a moment in PMDD, a really hard moment of like a wave of depression, a wave of anxiety, and I need to go in the bathroom and cry for 5 minutes. I don't need to be timing myself on crying. If I need to take a longer shower, you know, I don't need to be timing myself. If I want to stay at the spa a little bit longer, you know, I need a flexible schedule when I'm in PMDD. And I know a lot of my private clients, my patients do. And so when I am single, I have a greater flexibility with my schedule and my routines, my morning routines. You know, when I'm in PMDD, my morning routine might be a little bit longer. Like 9 times out of 10, my morning routine is like probably like 60 minutes. That's me moving my body. I would say 90 minutes, move my body, walk my dog, pray to God, listen to some worship music, really, and I'll journal. I do a lot of my journaling in the evening, not really in the morning, because I have a lot of anxious thoughts. So if I tried to journal in the morning, I would probably be scribbling a hole into the paper because it's too much for me. So, but I just have that time. So I would say about 90 minutes. Sometimes when I'm in PMDD, I take, you know, 120 minutes because I want to go on a longer walk, or I want to stay in the gym longer, or I want to walk the dog, or I want to pray longer. And when you're single, you're able to do that because no one's like waiting for you to check in right after that. But when you're in a relationship, that could trigger somebody if they say, oh, you're going to be on your morning routine for 90 minutes and it's been past 90 minutes and you've had your phone on do not disturb, which while I have my morning routine, my phone is on do not disturb. So if that partner is waiting for me to take it off of do not disturb, right? Like I have an issue with that because I need the freedom, the autonomy to, if I'm feeling like a certain way in the moment, let me feel that way. You know what I mean? Let me adjust my plans and it not be a problem. Let me adjust my work hours. Let me adjust my commitments. Let me adjust the date nights. When I'm single, there's never any issue with me adjusting my schedule because it's flexible, because it's just me. And it seems like, you know, coworkers, friends, other people, nobody, it's normally partners. Other people are pretty much more understanding. They're more understanding of you shifting your schedules and stuff like that. You don't really like your, I mean, I guess your boss may have an issue. I don't know. But I just know for me, whenever I've been in PMDD and I've adjusted my schedule, hey, I'm going home early or whatever. Like I've never had anyone be like, oh, I have an issue with this, to where it's causing me stress, because people are human, and I am very much that boss. I have a whole team and I'm very much that boss. If you tell me you need to go home, you need to go home. Like, I'm not going to ask you any questions. I'm not going to like just go home. I'm going to ask you, are you okay? Do you need anything? But I'm not going to be like, oh, well, we need you here and blah, blah, blah. So I don't have those issues with work. So again, the next benefit of being single while you have PMDD is your stress level goes down. My cortisol levels have greatly decreased. Not gonna lie, not gonna lie, not gonna lie. However, not everybody is in a stressful relationship. I will preface that. But I know for me, um, being in PMDD in my relationship has caused a lot of stress. Because it's the pressure to meet my partner's needs. There's this pressure, this internal, sometimes the pressure comes from your partner and sometimes it just comes from you. I have like, I can have a conversation with a lot of my private clients, and they'll literally say, like, I'll say, well, you're feeling a lot of pressure to meet your partner's needs. You're feeling a lot of pressure to be intimate. You're feeling a lot of pressure to be talkative. You're feeling a lot of pressure to be a certain way. Are they telling you that you have to be this way? And they'll be like, no, I just feel like I have to. Like, this is this internal pressure that you have. So when you're single, you don't have that, stress of meeting your partner's needs, and you can avoid conflicts and misunderstandings that you may have with your partner. And so it'll help you manage your symptoms better if your cortisol levels are not high. We all know, and because I've said this before, when your cortisol levels are high, it's when you're stressed out and it exasperates your symptoms. Stress and PMDD are a bad combination. You already have anxiety, you already have depression, you already have these things. When you have stress related issues in your relationship, it's like putting air into a balloon. And that's when you feel like you're about to pop, you're about to explode. And that's when you go into PMDD rage. So when you're single, you don't have somebody or some entity, as AKA your relationship, triggering you to do certain things, to show up a certain way. You don't have that. You just don't have it. It's just you. You can kind of navigate things a lot easier. You can pull yourself back. Like, if you're doing something that's triggering, you can stop doing it. But if you're doing something that's triggering and you're in a relationship, you may still have to do it because it's part of being in a relationship, right? If you want to just hibernate in your bed and not talk to anyone, but your partner wants to sit down with you and have dinner, you probably are going to have to sit down and have dinner because you're in a relationship. It's part of your duties and responsibilities. You do have duties and responsibilities in a relationship, by the way. When you're in a relationship, and that's a whole nother episode, but when you're in a relationship with someone, you have duties and responsibilities, and PMDD doesn't get rid of those duties and responsibilities. There's a level of onus that you have. This is your person, your partner. You are responsible for meeting a lot of their needs, because they can't just, if they want to have sex and you don't have sex with them, what are they going to do? You don't want them to cheat on you. So they can only have sex with you. That's what I mean. There's certain things that they can only do with you. There's certain ways that they can only meet their needs by you meeting their needs morally. So you have to be cognizant of that. But being single, you don't have that level of responsibility. Another benefit of being single is, exploration and growth. Um, Being single means you can go on a journey. I have a lot of private clients that have come see me once they've been single, and they've just unpacked a lot of trauma. A lot of it has come from childhood, but now you have the opportunity to focus on other areas of your life that have caused you to have stress and trauma. Now you have time to focus on your childhood trauma or your past relationship trauma because you're not currently in a relationship. So you can take that energy that you were spending on focusing on your partner and focus on yourself. Focus on some goals that you have, focus on paying down some debt. Like maybe you're not spending as much money because you're not, going on all these date nights and going on all these couples trips. Maybe your trips are cheaper because it's only one person. Buying a plane ticket for one person is way cheaper than buying it for a couple. So maybe you are able to take that extra trip because you're not paying for both tickets. Maybe you are able to be social more because you're just paying for one meal. Like maybe you can do this hobby because it's less expensive because you're only paying for one person. So maybe go on that excursion. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that go into a relationship that can hinder you doing things because you're doing it times two. So maybe you just take the time while you're single and you do all those things that you've been wanting to do, specifically when you're in PMDD. Like maybe when you're suffering, you like to travel, but you never were able to travel because it's too expensive for both of you. Now you can just go and hop on you. Maybe because you're single, you can hop on one of your girls' trips or your guys' trips because now you don't have to check in with another person or you don't have to get permission from your partner to go on that girls' trip, or you don't have to worry about that they're going to be thinking you're doing something shady. You can go on that trip. I used to do before I was in a relationship. I used to do a lot of solo traveling with a lot of solo travelers, backpacking through different countries as a solo person. I did that a lot. It was very cheap and I really enjoyed it because it was with other people that wanted to like do their own thing too. Like it was they wanted to explore. And so you end up finding a lot of hobbies and passions, and you don't have to have your hobbies and passions be aligned with anyone else but you. So you really get to know yourself. There's a lot that goes into the next one. There's a lot of self-reflection and healing that can take place. You can now be more self-aware and reflect on what happened during that last relationship, like heal from it, really take the time to heal from it and not hop into another relationship. Would it be easy for you once you're single to hop into another relationship? Absolutely. But instead of that, why not take the time and heal from your last one? So that when you do go into another relationship, when you have PMDD, you go through it with a lot of self-awareness and emotional resilience and emotional intelligence and emotional just knowledge of who you are and what you need. But you never get to know yourself until you're by yourself. I'm going to repeat that. You never get to know yourself in PMDD until you're by yourself in PMDD. Until you go through a luteal phase by yourself, go through ovulation by yourself, go through menstruation by yourself, go through your follicular phase by yourself, and start mapping out what is it that you need during all of those phases of your cycle. You can do a lot of cycle tracking and really get to know what you would need from a partner. So you can even be working on yourself to be in a relationship while you're single. And the last thing is you have freedom to seek help. This is when you can go to therapy and let the therapy, the counseling be about you. It doesn't have to be about you and your partner and their needs, but let it be all about you. And you don't have to feel selfish for that. You book a session, a single session with me, and it's about you. I'm not splitting the session between you and your partner. We're talking about you the whole time. And that's amazing. Like the benefit of really getting me to focus in on you, I can get so much done. This is a lot of times when, you can buy a package from me that is 4 sessions, right? It's on my website. And what I always like to do is do one session with one partner, one session with another partner, and then we'll do 2 together where I'm combining the tools that I have for the both of you. But the beauty in having a single session by yourself is it's all about you, your trauma, your triggers, everything. We're getting to the root of it, and you're able to do it on an individual basis so where your partner isn't getting triggered by the things that we're talking about. A lot of times when we try to do one-on-ones while we're in a session with a partner, when your partner hears a lot of what you're going through, it can trigger them. And so it ends up being about them again, because, your partner wants to defend themselves about what they've just heard. They want to defend themselves about what you just said. And so now we have to address your partner's feelings and emotions, rightfully so. I create space for both of you. But when you're single, we're just focusing on you. And so if it triggers your partner, if it doesn't matter. We're talking about what we need to talk about for you to heal without having to sugarcoat anything, without having to pause anything. I'm all in on you. All my attention, my focus is on you and giving you those customized tools for your PMDD journey. And then if you want to work on being with a partner, and you know that you want to be a good partner yourself when you get in a relationship, we can even talk about what kind of partner you should be going for, what kind of partner you should be looking for, and what kind of partner you should be avoiding. So if that's something that you need help with, if you're in that dating phase and you know that you want to get back into a relationship, you want to be in a relationship again, I am going to have a singles retreat. It's going to be coming up in June. So look out for it. If you're not on my mailing list, please go to just email me, rose@inlovewithpmdd.com. On my mailing list, you'll be able to get all the information about the retreat. You'll be the first ones to get it. It's my PMDD Partners Weekly Digest. But we are going to be we had the couples retreat, which was amazing. And now we're going to have the singles retreat. I'm bringing back my best friend, who's also a licensed massage therapist, who's going to be giving massages while we're there. We're going to have, a girls or guys night, whoever's there. Singles, this is for both partners. It doesn't matter if you're male, female, whatever. You're welcome to come on the singles one, because I really wanted to give you all the opportunity to just come out, meet other PMDD partners. And you don't have to be partnered in a relationship, but it's just really going to help you. We'll have information sessions and one-on-ones with me. And yeah, it's going to be amazing. So I'm looking forward to meeting you who are coming on that. It's going to be in June, but I'll put it out a little bit later. But if you're not on my mailing list, rose@inlovewithpmdd.com. That's how you get on my mailing list to get all of the announcements, about opening with private sessions. I do have some more available. So make sure you go to my website, inlovewithpmdd.com, and make sure you book those private sessions. But yeah, this should give you a good indication of the benefits of being single while you have PMDD. But what I want you to take away from this is I still have PMDD. I'm single and I still have PMDD. And I told you last month I had a really hard PMDD month, and it was no one there to be the cause of it, right? But I want you to just recognize that there are benefits to it. And on the next episode, we will be talking about the benefits of having a PMDD partner, which is equally as amazing. It's all your choice. Until next time, we got this. Love you. I hope this PMDD episode helped you and your partner in your struggles within your relationship. And if this is something that you know that you need help with and you need further support, individualized support, make sure you're going to inlovewithpmdd.com and you're getting those private sessions to really work through what you're going through in your relationship, specifically in regards to PMDD. And also, I want you to leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts. What this does is it helps other PMDD sufferers and partners find this show that can help them get these free PMDD relationship tools. I remember what it felt like to not know that there were tools out there specifically for PMDD relationships. So I want to make sure that you are sharing these tools with others, share them on your social media, share them with people that you know that are also struggling in their PMDD relationships. Until next episode, this is Dr. Rose, your PMDD relationship psychotraumatologist. One more thing, I almost forgot. I now have the Fresh Start PMDD Partners Workbook. What this workbook can do is, if you've had past traumatic experiences with your partner, past fights, past arguments, and they keep coming up every single month in PMDD, I created a Fresh Start Workbook so that you can deal with all of the traumatic experiences that have happened in the past in PMDD rage and all of these things, so you can stop going through the same cycle again and again and again. So get that workbook. It comes with a video episode of the actual podcast that I recorded on getting a fresh start in your PMDD relationship, so you're not continuing the same cycle again and again and again. So make sure that you get that workbook. And if you need those individualized counseling sessions, you know where to go, inlovewithpmdd.com. Until next time, we got this. Love you.